Good morning, everybody, and it's a crazy Friday, and here we are. Here we are in level three, and we are working in book 336. Oh, here comes Melissa. Let's let her in. It makes no difference. You can just put it up against that wall right there. Yep. Did you get everything now? Oh, no, you need the bench. Don't forget your bench. Isn't that the bench? That bench goes with the organ. Don't forget that. All right. Yes, I told you it was crazy Friday around here today. And you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Just do me a favor when you leave. Make sure that the outside door does get closed, because then it will automatically lock. Up, just like that. And don't let it slam on top of you. Yeah, I know. Here we go. The song we're doing today is on page 76. It's called "I Will Remember You." It's the original inspiration for this actually came from Seamus Egan's instrumental song entitled "Weep Not for the Memories." And that phrase is in this song, "Weep Not for the Memories." Um, Miss Sarah McLachlan was one of the writers. She and Miranda added lyrics and modified the melody for her version. It first appeared on the soundtrack for the movie The Brothers McMullen in 1995 and was released the same year. Did anybody see that movie?
No.
I did not, but I understand it's about three Irish brothers who had immigrated to New York or I'm not sure where, but they immigrated, and then it was their lives, and they're getting married and working and all. So I guess it was a pretty good movie. And then this was the theme song for that. And like I said, this is level three, so we can keep it as easy as we want. But because I did not have a Monday or a Wednesday class, I am doing a preset sheet. And you know where to get them. You just email me after class, and I'll make sure you get scanned. Or you can wait for Robert to put it back on Patreon. The reason for doing the preset sheet is nothing more than you learning where everything is on your instrument. Okay? Let's, let's see if they're still here. Okay. I do have some extra chords as well, and the chords are optional. You do not need to put in all these extra chords, but I think you'll see that it will make it sound a little bit better. This is basically a piano song, so I am going to start with just piano chords, and then we'll talk about, and I'm going to play single-fingered chords, so we'll talk about how am I accomplishing piano chords with one finger and making it sound like this. I'm using soft country, it's under soft and easy. Any soft and easy is going to work if you've got a smaller instrument. Any of your smooths, your smooth pianist is going to be absolutely fine for this. I'm at 66 beats per minute. And if you are using soft country, it's rhythm preset or vintage number 8, which is the piano. And then I'm going to make my changes, and I want you to listen and then tell me when I'm done what changes I actually made and where. So it's going to be a good listening experience for you as well. So here we go.
That's beautiful.
Came out okay, didn't it?
Just
Yep.
beautiful.
And it was just basically taking stuff out and putting stuff back in. Now, a lot of this is one button pushes, but I find it easier when I have this many changes to just line it up in presets. Now, if you are level 3 or you have an instrument that does not have programmable presets, don't worry about it. You find a rhythm that works for you, and then you make little changes. Little changes. Let's start at the beginning. Now, you noticed I did change the roadmap. Okay, I'm changing it because otherwise the song gets way too long. So let's do the roadmap first. You're going to play all of page 76. You're going to play all of page 77. Turn the page, and in the middle of line 3, you see your first ending. Okay, so your first ending is right there. Now, you're going to color your dots, but I also want you to write in that first ending DS al coda. And ending 2, you're going to eliminate. So ending 2, you're just going to X out.
Is that on the next page?
No, ending 2 is just that one measure on the end of line 3 on page 78.
Yes.
See
Okay.
it? Yeah, we're just going to X out that one measure.
Okay.
So when you're on first ending, you're just going to write DS al coda. You're shifting it from the second ending over to the first ending. So now what you're going to do is you're going to go back to the silly sign, which also happens to be where the dots are. So whatever color you made your dots, you're going to make the silly sign and the dots that same color, which is page 76, line 4, the beginning. See it? And we're only going to do 2 verses. And guess what? She only sings 2 verses. That first verse, she doesn't even sing. She starts with verse 2, then she goes to verse 3 and ends the song. So where that first verse came from, I'm not even sure, because she does not sing that. So now the second verse, we're going to play the last line of page 76, all of page 77.
Could I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Okay. When you did the first verse, and you go on the second page on 78, third line. Okay, we colored the dots, and then we went back to the beginning, didn't we?
No, you go back to you go back to line 4 on page 76.
Okay.
Yeah, don't go back to the beginning. Don't make that mistake. You're always looking, when you have dots, you're always looking for the immediate dots. If there are no dots, then you go back to the beginning. But in this case, you go back to the dots. And we also said DS al coda, which is silly signs in the same spot.
Correct.
So line 4 is where you start that other verse. And then you play all of page 77. When you get to page 78, line 1, line 2, the first measure of the third line, it says 2 coda. So now you're just going to drop down to the coda and finish the song. So basically, we're just playing 2 verses. Got it?
Yep.
All right. As far as the changes, if you want to mark your music, A1 is right away at the beginning. And I'll go through how I did this a little bit slower. I just want to mark where the changes are. Even if you've got a smaller organ, mark in where the changes are. You can choose to make little changes, subtle changes, or you can just find the perfect background and play. The only thing you might want to add then might be like a duet or something else, or some strings to fill it out a little bit. Okay, where is A2? A2 is line 3, end of the second, actually it's the end of the line. You're going to play that C chord, and then you're going to do A2. And do you remember what I did there? Did you hear what I actually added?
Orc plus.
Nope, wasn't the Arc Plus. I started like this, and I went to this. What did I add?
Oh.
What did I add?
Bass.
Bass and drums. Yeah, I added bass and drums. The first one had no bass, no drums.
Nice.
Now it is a little bit harder, like on an easy 4, to take out drums and bass and then add them all back in. So you don't worry about it. You just start with bass and drums. So no worries. No worries. You want to keep it as easy as possible. But for those of you that can, that's where you're going to add the drums, is that last measure of line 3, right before you get to the silly sign.
Yep.
All right, now keep going. The end of line 3 on page 77, you're going to put A3 and A6. A3 and A6. So you're going to have 2 presets there. And that's so that you go into the chorus. I will remember you, the last line.
Dawn, would you repeat that again? Where'd you put the A1, A2?
A1 is at the very beginning of the song.
All right.
A2 is line 3, at the end of line 3. Right after you play that C chord, go to A2.
All right.
So you can get that pickup note.
Okay.
And that's it. Then you have at the end of line 3 on page 77, A3 and A6. Turn the page, page 78. Line 2, where that rest is, A4.
Oh, okay.
And you're only going to do that one the first time. The second time you play it, you're going to just, that's only the first time through. So you might want to put 1 X by it, first time only, is A4. And then at the end of the first ending, you're going to put A5.
Okay. Okay. And that's on the third line.
Third
Yeah.
line, correct. At the
Mhm.
end of the first ending, right where you colored in your dots, you put A5. So that when you go back to the dots, you're already on A5.
5,
Yep.
6.
All right, now, we already put in A6, so you know where that one is.
Yep.
A7 is the last line of the song on page 79.
Is that when you did the fade out?
I just did a complete stop, and I went
Yeah.
only to chords with the piano.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hmm?
So A7 is at the very end of that
Yep.
line?
It's at the end of line 3, beginning of line 4
Okay. All
of
right.
page
Thank you.
79. Because what you're doing is you're going, then you're going to do complete stop, and then this.
So you're putting a no chord at the very beginning of that 4th line, right?
No, I'm putting a complete stop.
Oh, that's what the A7 is.
Yeah, if you just
Okay.
go to A7,
All right.
there's no chord there. You can just go to A7, or you can actually hit the stop and then touch A7, either one.
Okay. Okay.
Either one. Now, does it have to be that drastic when you're on a smaller instrument? No. If you go to Smooth Pianist, which is like your heart songs, make sure that you do add some drums, because remember, your pianist and guitarist don't show up with the drummer, so you got to add your drums. You also may want to go to your lower left over here and put your ensemble on, because that's going to give you some strings down in the lower left-hand chord, and you can add those a little bit later. Your piano will already be on, but you want to make sure that your organ button, now remember this is for small organs only, make sure your organ button is set up to string 16. so that you can push it at one of these changes.
So that's sort of the same thing we did with I Will Always Love You.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Yep, the same things that you learn for these easy arrangements, you're going to use it over and over and over for other songs, yes. And you've also got your harmony button, your duet, or your AOC that you can add as well. And I use that on the chorus, which is A3 and A6.
Mhm.
Okay. Thank you.
You can also add, if you don't like the strings, or you can add along with the strings, is vocals. I actually use the vocals to go along with that piano.
Don, are
try-
you saying you can play A3 and A6 at the same time?
No,
They're
no, no. You're
together?
playing it 2 different times. The first,
Mhm.
I just line
Ah.
everything up.
Okay.
Okay, so
Good.
now I'm going to play the song again, and I'm going to call out my presets.
Okay.
Okay, and there's also, the second time I play it, you're going to hear a golden harp, which is optional. You can put that in or not. And you're going to hear a harmony on the chorus, which is going to be a country harmony, because you're going to have the harmony notes are going to be on top. So if you have country harmony, use country harmony. If you do not, put a duet on, and it's going to sound just really nice as well. And if you find one good sound, you can play the whole song on the same thing. But it's kind of nice to have each verse just a little different, like without duet, with vocal, with strings. You know, you might want to add a few extra things. Strings on the bottom, yeah. So what you're doing is you're learning to make an easy arrangement. And if you want to take the challenge, you can put in all the hard stuff as well, because this just tells you where everything is. All right, so I'm going to play it one more time.
Dawn, I have one question.
Go ahead.
On the first page, third line, when she sang that, I could barely make out the words. I mean, she sang it so softly, and I
Yeah.
wondered why.
Yep. Yep.
Because I did not hear the words distinctly, and that was odd.
Weep not for the memories.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
That's
I would have wished for more clear, something more
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah.
This beautiful song.
It is a beautiful song, yeah. So she starts out just on a piano. So what I did is I took soft country, rhythm preset or vintage number 8. Don't worry, you're going to get all this. Turn off your bass, turn your drums down to 0. My lower chord, I want to make sure that it's up a little higher so you can hear my chords a little bit better with the piano down here. And I'm also editing my style. If you really want to get into it, you can edit your style. So I'm going to change one to a piano, so the whole thing is piano, but I'm going to take out some of the orchestra +2 and +3. So when you get this, don't forget, how do you edit style? If you've got a touch screen, you touch the top of the screen and they all show up. And then you touch the one you want to change. If you have problems with that, you can email me and I'll walk you through it, or you can go to your favorite PA at your favorite store and have them walk you through it. Because it is something that makes it easier to make some really cool arrangements. But it's optional, so don't worry about it. All right, so I'm just doing the piano, A1. That's A2. Top of the page. And just play it the way she would sing it. Don't worry about counting the quarter notes and eighth notes. A3. Not a little bit off, because I was talking.
Okay.
Turn the page. I've got country harmony. And I added back in the Orc Plus. Solo. That's A4. Okay, where A4 comes in for Weep Not for the Memories, I took off my duet. I took off my country harmony and just let the solo singer do it. Now we're going to do A5 and go back to the silly sign or your dots. And I'm going to add a golden harp. A6, country harmony, and vocals. I added a vocal tab. Keep going. Don't change the preset. Stay on A6. Coda. Top of the last page. And I'm going to hit stop. Go to A7 and play the last line.
Pretty.
All I had on was the easy button with piano and the piano vocals on top. I took out all the rhythm. Now, if you don't want to do that, let's say you're on an easy 4. All right. If you're on an easy 4, you can hit that stop button and just play the top keyboard for the melody. And don't worry about the chords. So you make it as simple as possible to give it a little bit of drama. And I know I'm pushing you a little bit today, so hopefully you enjoyed the arrangement. Now let's go in and add some optional chords. For those of you
I
that
have
like,
a question.
go ahead.
Again. So on page 76, third line,
Yeah.
the last measure.
Huh?
Did you put another note in between the C, C, and then you held the C? Did you put another note or something?
No, I added the bass, and when the bass kicked in, it sounded like another note.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, when you change presets, that bass kicks in, and you hear that
Exactly.
other
I
note
heard
coming
that.
in.
Okay.
Yeah, so you heard.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with your hearing. That's good.
Okay. Guess not.
Yeah. No, that's good. For those of you that don't want to take the bass and drums out, just start with it and go with it. And go with it. Yep. All right, let's add a few extra chords just because I can. You don't have to. But if you want a little bit of a challenge, go ahead. The C is fine. The F, you can make it an F major 7. That's an easy chord to learn, even in level 3. Major 7 is E and F. The rule is the letter -1, the very next note to the left. And they're very easy chords to play. So if I take this off and just put on easy. and F. If you want, you can even make it a major 9 for those of you who are more advanced. A major 9 is E, F, G, A. That's a 4-note chord. But if you're just starting to add new chords, just put in a major 7, E and F. You may play the G, or you may substitute a C major 7 or major 9. So if the rule is the letter -1, it's B and C, or C and B. That's another jazz chord. And a lot of these songs that are the easy listening songs did use a lot of major 7s because it just adds flavor to the songs. All
So
right,
the
last
chords were what?
Go ahead.
C major 9, what was the chord
C
for?
major 9 is B, C, D, E. 4 notes in a row.
Okay.
If you just want to do the major 7, it's B and C or C and B.
Mhm. Mhm.
Keep it easy, make it as hard as you want. All right, next measure. The C chord is good. The F, make it a major 7 or a major 9. E and F is all you need. The next line, the first 4 chords, no change. The last chord in the line is a D minor, D and F. You may make it a D minor 7, which includes the C, C, D, F, or you can make it a D minor 9. And remember, those 9 chords are 4 fingers. C, D, E, F. Another jazz chord.
And that was on the third line, last
That's
measure?
on the second line, last chord.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, yes, of course.
Third line, the first 3 chords, no changes. The last chord is a C. If you wish, you can make it a C, add 9. It's a 3-fingered chord. Or not, don't worry about it, but that's another jazz chord. And you play 3 notes, C, D dinosaur, E elephant. All right, let's go down to the last line. We're going to add a chord. Beat 1 over that E 8th note, put a plain old C. Plain old C, pinky on C. If you didn't do anything to the C up here, you're still on it. The F can be an F add 9, which would be F, G, A, or just play an F, it's fine. The G7 is fine. Let's go to the top of the second page. The C is fine. The F can be an F major 7, E and F, or F major 9, E, F, G, A. The next 2 chords are fine. Let's go to the line 2. The C chord is good. The F can be major 7 or F major 9. The G or G7 is good for 2 counts. Beat 3 over the quarter rest. Put a C, chicken. You're going to go to a C anyway, but we're just moving it back because it'll sound better. So third line, the first 3 chords are fine. That G chord is good for 2 counts. Beat 3, put a C over that C quarter note for the word 1. So again, we're just moving that C chord back because you're going to start the next line with a C chord as well.
Mhm.
The F can be major 7 or major 9. E and F. The C chord is good. The F at the end of the page, major 7 or major 9. So if an F major 7 chord's the only thing you learn, you did good. Let's turn the page. First line, no changes. Wow. Second line, the D minor can be a D minor 7 or a D minor 9. So you're either going to play D and F, or you're going to play C, D, and F, or you're going to play C, D, E, and F. Just plop those 4 fingers right down. Third line, no changes. The coda, no changes. Let's go to page 79. First line, no changes. Second line, no changes. third line, the last chord is an A minor. You may make it an A minor 7, which is C, G, and A. And the last line, no changes. So there's not a lot, but there's enough to keep your interest. There's enough to just give you a little bit of a push, a little bit of a challenge. If the only chord you learn is F major 7, woohoo, you did good.
Hey, Dawn,
Yeah,
on page 79, did you leave all the Fs as F, not F major 7?
yep, all of them are just Fs.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Thank you.
Yep. I wonder if you could make those. You probably could make them major 7s. Let me play it with a major 7. Those probably could be major 7s. Let me try. Yeah, you could make those major 7s as well. Yeah, you can just leave them F, or you can make them major 7s if you want. That'll work. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
I'll take
All
these.
right. So far, have you learned one new thing today? If you learned one thing, you are 100% successful. By the way, Robert has already scheduled, or he will, the concert contest
Oh, good.
for the last Saturday of March. That's the 25th. It will be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, Florida time, on Zoom and in the store. And this time I'm going to allow the people, and I figured out how to let you guys play at home. Your job is to come up with a list of 10, only 10, and you're on your honor for that. Only 10 songs with the word always or never in the title. 10 songs that you think I'm going to play. And if I play them, you get a point. Now, if you want to participate, the week beforehand, I will let you know. Email me that, yes, I'm participating. I have my list of 10. I don't need your list of 10, but I will assign you a number. And then your number goes in the basket. So that when I pull a number, it could be somebody in Zoom and it could be somebody in the store here. Okay, and then that person will give me the name of a song that they think I have. And we just did I Will Always Love You, and that was last week's. That has the word always in it. So somebody has that on their list and they go, okay, I pull out number 1 and it's Fred. And Fred says, I will always love you. And I say, yeah, I've got that song. And I pull it out and I play it. Fred gets 2 points. Double points because he called it out. Everybody else that has that on their list gets 1 point for that song.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's how it works. You go for those double points because that's how you win prizes. Now, unfortunately, I have not figured out how to send the prizes through the Zoom screen so that the Zoom people can get prizes too. So only the people in the store right now can actually win the physical prizes. If you win on Zoom, you get bragging rights for a month. So that's I've already talked to Robert about it. He is going to put that on the schedule. So 10 songs with the word always or never that you think I'm going to play, and it's just a lot of fun. It really is. I still have fingering for you as well. Next week, we will do I Wish You Love, the very next song in the book. All right.
Latin.
Questions?
No.
Nope? Okay, you guys are awesome. Let's go do some fingering. If you don't need fingering, thank you so much for coming. I love, love, love this class. I love the songs in this book. They're fabulous. You guys picked a good one. Let's do some fingering. C1. No, this is sorry, wrong song. That's the right song. E2. G4, G4. A5, E2, G4. E2, G4, G4. A5, E2, D1, C2, circle it. You're going to do a crossover, and then you're going to tuck your thumb right back under, E1, G2, C5, G2, F1, E3, circle it, that's a crossover, D2, C1. Oh, there's several ways you can do this one. E4, E4, D2, I'm sorry. It's been a long week. Let's go back and do line 3 again. E4, E4, D3, C2, C2, B1. Thank you for your patience. C2, C2. The low pickup note G is a 1. E4, F5, E4, E4, D3. D3, C2, E4, D3, C2.
Excuse me, Dawn.
Yes.
I got confused for you on that third line. Could you do that
Mhm.
again, please?
Yep, third line. E4, E4, D3, C2, C2, B1. C2, C2, and the low pickup note is a 1.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know, I did that. I confused you, I'm sorry. All right, where are we? Top of this next page?
No, the bottom line.
Bottom line. Okay, bottom line, one more time. E4, F5, E4, E4, D3. D3, C2, E4, D3, C2. Top of the next page, E4, 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 D3, F5, E4, D3, 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 E4, D3, C2. Check mark. Next line, E2, G4, 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 A5, D2, C1. Remember, play the song the way you remember it being sung. Don't play 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, 8th note, or it's going to sound very stiff. You're going to have to just kind of play some a little longer, some a little faster until it comes out to be more like a singing song rather than just 8th note, 8th note. All right, so line 2, measure 2. D2, D2. The triplet is D2, C1, E3, C1, D2. Third line, E3, E3, F4, E3, C1, 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 D2, D2, C1, C1, C1. Fourth line, E2, G4, G4, A5, E2, G4. Last measure of that page, E2, G4, G4, A5, E2. All right, now we turn the page. 2 more pages. D1, C2, circle it. That's going to be a crossover. E1, that's, you're tucking under. So if you want to circle that, you actually could, because you're going to put your thumb right back up to that E. G2, high D5, C4. G2,
Excuse me,
F1. Yeah.
Dawn, your video kind of stopped. Could you give us the line 3 on page 77?
Oh, I froze up, huh?
Yeah, it did.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to line 3 on page 77. That's okay. We close at 5. We're fine. E3, E3, F4, E3, C1, 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 D2, D2, C1, C1, C1. Next line, E2, G4, G4, A5, E2, G4. E2, G4, G4, A5, E2. Now turn the page. D1, C2, circle it, cross over. Going to put your thumb right back under, E1, G2, high D5, C4, G2, F1, E3. Circle it, that's a crossover. D2, second line C1. All right, E4, E4, F5, E4, D3, C2, C2. Next line B1, C2, C2. All right, let's go to the coda. Right after that held C on the coda, you can put a check mark, and you're going to start on the last line there. I will remember you as E2, G4, G4, A5, E2. Top of the last page, G4, E2, G4, G4, A5, E2, D1. Last note on that page, on that line, C2, circle it, that's a crossover. E1, you've got to get that thumb tucked all the way under. G2, D5, C4. G2, F1, E3, circle it, crossover. D2, C1. The next E on the next line can be a 2 or a 1, either one is fine. High C5, low D1, C2, circle it, crossover, C2, B1, C2, C2. And the last line, E4, E4, F5, E4, D3, C2, C2, B1, C2, C2. It's a little long. It's a little bit long,
That
but it's a
was.
pretty song. Play it the way you sing it. Play it the way
Dawn?
you, yeah, play it the way
Thank
you
you.
remember her singing it. Questions?
Don,
Yeah,
could you repeat the first 2 lines of the song?
yes. First 2 lines of the song. E2, G4, G4, A5, E2, G4, E2, G4, G4, A5, E2, D1, C2, circle it, crossover, E1, G2, C5, G2, F1, E3, circle it, crossover, D2, C1. Anybody else?
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, next week we do I Wish You Love. If you have any questions, email me. Go to your favorite PA at your favorite store. And I'll be happy to walk you through some of this stuff. But keep it easy and keep it fun. Always keep it fun. And if you learn one thing, you're good. You guys have a fabulous weekend.
Thank you, Dawn.
And we'll see you next week. Classes should be all back to normal next week.